So like I said earlier, the material from the beginning, the first stage, the first page to the last page, we have treated everything on YouTube. Volume 1, Volume 2, 3, 4, and 5. The material has been treated. So now, the treating of this material on YouTube basically is to introduce us to this course. So while we are taking these classes on YouTube, you are expected to have your notes and take down points. Now, these points you've been able to gather from volume 1 to 5. You come to Telegram, according to what you have in your notes. You let us know. You walk us through your notes. Then, from my own personal notes, which I use in taking the classes on YouTube, I am also going to be making contributions and inputs based on what you have been able to grab on YouTube. Because basically, the YouTube thing is like I'm the only one doing the talking. And if you want to ask questions, you have to type. So the reason why we have this Telegram class, you can hear me, I can hear you, you can interrupt, you can ask questions based on what you have been able to grab. Now, the reason why we mandate having that YouTube class first is because we have a lot of courses to cover. And using Telegram to cover all these courses is a white elephant project. It's not possible. I've tried it before. This department, this semester, I think you'll be having about a minimum of 7 courses, and one material can be 300 pages. So YouTube is faster compared to the sense confirming the fact that bullet points can be highlighted and explained. All right, but the detailing is done here. The class me and Mr. Alfred had last week Saturday, I think we only attended the 2 pages of the keynote for almost an hour. And in YouTube, in 30 minutes, we can attend to a module. These are the differences. So coming to Telegram class, throughout this week for this department, we are only having Telegram classes because we've been able to conclude with the course on YouTube. So throughout this week now, what I'm expecting us to do in this class is, this is my notes, I call you out, this is what I have here, they'll begin to explain better. And this is what we are doing throughout this week on BFN209. So tomorrow, no class on BFN209. It is on Wednesday. We're having our next class. So Mr. Alfred, I think from what you have said now, you've covered volume 1. So you are going to start from volume 2. So I'm going to drop the link in the private WhatsApp group that we have created. The link, you are going to take it up from volume 2 of BFN209. Miss Glory David, have you been able to cover all the volumes we had on YouTube?
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah. Sir, can I suggest something, sir?
Go ahead,
I know, please. I don't, was this the style you used last year? I'm not sure that this was the method you used last year. I'm not sure. Because I remember last year we used to have a live class with you. You understand?
Yes.
But
on YouTube.
Yes, I know. I don't know the channel you use. Because let me tell you something there. In one of these, because most of us, apart from your own classes, right? There are other courses also registered. Other people also registered with. Some persons they follow the, how do you call it? They follow the course material. So you understand the course materials from model 1 to like model end of it. But like you said, that we should go. I never have this understanding. You understand? If not, that we should listen to what you have, what you dropped there, make a new part of it, and come to the class. That's what you said, right? That's what you said, right? Is it?
Yes.
But I doubt if that will be productive.
You doubt if what?
So if that will be productive. So what happened to the other your live class that you usually take us?
I think you are mixing it up. The classes I am referring us to are live classes as well. They are also live classes, and everything we have in that class is from the course material.
Okay.
Everything in that classes are all from the course material. I don't use any resource apart from the official course material given by the school. So now, what you are expected to do, like I think throughout last week when we started, Mr. Alfred, you were not following up. I think that's why we're having this back and forth. You were not following up. Uh, I think according to the study plan, we have time scheduled for each of these classes, and I dropped the link in our group so that we can attend to those classes. And after these classes, I recommend everybody drop their notes. Probably throughout that time, you were busy with work or maybe some other things. So each of these classes, they are being dropped in the group, and we are expected to follow through. Now, this particular course has been treated, all right? It has been attended to properly on YouTube. So it is best in your own interest to walk through these courses accordingly. Like I said, after this meeting, I will drop the link. And if you need
Okay.
assistance, sending you to you directly, fine. All right. And last semester, we weren't able to have Telegram classes. Why? Because most of all these courses were taking a lot of time attending to them on YouTube. And a lot of students helped more than the YouTube class because the YouTube classes, a lot of them were unable to ask questions. And even considering the fact that this semester you are doing statistics, so I feel the Telegram classes will be of help greatly. Just like we did our MT 106. I think Mr. Alfred, you were with us last semester when we did our MT 106 on Telegram, and I could tell how much that was helpful. So it's the same strategy we are using this semester, and we are starting early. And I was even deliberate about, I'm not sure I've ever had Telegram classes back to back like this, the way I even did for this department, because throughout this week it's Telegram classes. Why? We could have moved to the next course, but I was deliberate about still holding on for this week. Let us make sure we attend to this course properly before we move to the next one. So, Miss Wumi,
It's okay.
I was asking Miss Glory, how many volumes have you been able to? Were you able to throughout last week? Were you also attending classes, or you missed classes too, ma?
I missed class. I joined this week.
Okay, you
I
just
missed.
joined. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, Miss Wumi, what about you?
Miss any class, sir.
What did you say, ma?
I didn't.
So you followed through all the 5 volumes.
Yes.
Okay, so very well then. We just have to take something this night, even though I'm not happy with the fact that Miss Glory and Mr. Alfred here has not been doing the needful, but nevertheless, we still just have to do something this night. So, Miss Wumi, do you have anything on the finance function?
Finance what? Function?
Functions, yes. Where we talk about finance functions, investment functions, and the likes.
On the life.
You think it's easy to work for someone to express himself? Well, we are not teachers.
Okay. Now let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to a little bit. Now, Mr. Alfred, in our last
Yeah.
class, we talked about the ventures. We talked about internal and external finance. You remember, sir?
Yes, sir.
Were you in the class when we talked about internal finance and external finance, sir? I
Yes,
think that was our
sir.
last.
I think that was the last this thing I know of. I never knew that.
The only class you were attending was Telegram class. That was the reason why. And our last Telegram class,
Yeah.
that's all. Internal finance and external finance, where I explained to us that we have the stakeholders and we have the shareholders. And when we say stakeholders, now there are people that gives finance internally, but the shareholders are external finance resource. I think Mr. Alfred is good on that. Miss Wumi, do you also remember? Can you remember we talked about that? I'm not sure you were in our last class, but did you have anything on that? The
Sir,
external
can
and
you just
internal
guide
finance.
me? What model is that? Or what model and unit is that? That finance function.
I have, Mr. Alfred, I've said this before time. I don't follow the modules because
Okay.
in the material there can be a lot of stories on just one module. And what we go for are the bullet points, then we break them down and explain. But if you have your soft material there, if you have your phone or your soft material, just do a search on external finance. Use the search button to look for external finance. You'll find it. What I'm using to take us now is my keynote, not the school material. I've
Okay.
already made my notes out of the, the school material. Okay. So, Miss Glory, can you hear me? Okay, Miss Glory says she does not have a note. So, Miss Wumi, do you have anything on external and internal finance?
Yes.
We can't hear you, ma.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, Miss Glory, Mr. Alfred, we are good on external and internal finance. And this external and internal finance that we're even talking about is what we treated in our first video, volume 1. This should be found in module 1 because these are the first 2 pages of the keynote. We still have unattended to about, let me even check. Okay, I think we have, this is 4 out of 36 pages. So we've not even gone far at all. Now, after internal and external finance, then we talked about dividends. Do you have anything on dividends, Miss Wumi?
Yes.
Please walk us straight, man. What do you have on dividends?
Hello. Okay, the dividend distribution of a company earnings to its shareholders.
Are you reading for my? Can you take that again, ma?
Is that
Can you take that again, please?
dividend distribution of a company earnings to its shareholders?
Okay, please.
That's
Can
what
you
I wrote
explain what?
down.
Yes, thank you for that. Can you explain what you mean by what it means by that from your own input, not from the what you have in your notes, ma? Miss Rumi, you can unmute yourself and explain to us better. You've said what you have in your note, which is wonderful, but we need to hear your input when we talk about dividends. Okay, Miss Rumi, can you hear me? Okay, very well. Mr. Alfred, do you have anything to say on dividends?
Dividends function or just dividends? Is it
What
dividend?
it
Is it the
means
same
by
thing?
no, the function it's a different thing entirely. We are talking about the term dividends itself.
I think the what I understand, I don't know if it's from the course material, but what I understand as dividends has to do with the earning and an investor, the return on an investment after a particular period of time.
Wonderful,
Maybe
wonderful.
after a year.
Thank you very
Kind
much
of
for
a
that.
return on investment after
Yes, that's a key word.
a limited
That's a,
period of
that's a word. Miss Bumi already said something about that, but I just needed because what she did was she recited what she has in her notes, and that was not the idea. I needed her to put her own input. Now, when we say dividends, you only talk of dividends because you did business with another person. You only get to talk of dividends because you did business with another person. Now, according to what she said it is the distribution of earnings. Now, these earnings are coming from a company that you bought shares from. Now, the two keywords here are distribution and earnings, meaning that when you buy share from a particular company, which is more like an external source of finance for that company, at the end of a particular period, your shares will yield that profit now that that company will now give to you is what is called dividends. Are we together? The profit on your shares as a shareholder given to you by the company you bought shares from is what is referred to as dividends. Miss Rumi, can you hear me now? I need to be sure if Miss Rumi gets this.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good, good. So you understand what it means by dividends. Do you understand it better now?
Yes, I understand. It's like maybe payment made by a corporation to its
Yes,
shareholders. Yeah.
exactly. You can only get this payment because you did business with them. All right. So it is said to be the distribution of company's earnings to a shareholder, and it is determined by the
Yes.
company's board of directors. So thank you very much for that. So now let's proceed to financial and real asset markets. All right. So now, Miss Wumi, do you have anything on real markets and financial markets?
Yes, real market and financial market. Yes. Yes, sir.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, the real market are for physical or tangible assets.
Good, wonderful. These physical and tangible assets, what are examples of these physical and tangible assets, ma'am?
Okay, like office, gold, buildings.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anything that is tangible, all right?
Okay.
Market for assets. Don't forget that it's not market for liability, it's market for assets. Whereby, and when we say assets, what do you understand by the term assets? Do you understand the term assets? Miss Umi, do you understand what it means by assets?
Asset is just like item of value that an individual or business or organization owns.
Wonderful. Item of value, meaning that it has the ability to create more values. Mr. Alfred, do you want to expand on that? What it means by assets? You are more of a businessman, so you should be able to enlighten us more on that, sir.
Assets are properties, both
Okay,
capitals and liquids, both liquid and
could be physical, could be solid.
mm, an example of assets. You have the machineries, buildings.
Wonderful, wonderful, definitely
Yeah,
wonderful. Yes,
those are tangible assets. They also have the liquid, which is the finance,
liquid
which is the
assets.
shares.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Thank you very much for that. Anything that is of value, all right, anything that is capable of generating you more finance, more income that can help you make money. And that's why we say don't spend money on liability. All right, spend money on assets. So thank you very much. So the market for assets, all right, market for asset now is called the real markets, tangible or physical assets. Just like Mr. Alfred has said, we have the liquid assets too. Those ones are not, they are more like, they are not tangible. All right. When I say tangible, they are more like something you might not be able to touch, or you can only see them. These ones are the liquid. They are not the physical they are the intangible and liquid assets. But when we talk about physical and tangible assets now, the market where you get them from is called the real market. Are we good to
Sir,
go?
yes, can you tell us what a capital market is?
Well, just like you said before now, capital is more like a liquid asset. All right. And when we talk about capital markets, it's basically a resource, all right, where you can get capitals. All right. And capital does not have to do with money alone. All right. You can need machineries as your capitals. All right. A market whereby you can get capital resources. All right. Capital resources from. It could be liquid, it could be tangible, but a market whereby you can always get capital resources from, then we can refer to such as a capital market. All right. Have I been able to answer your question, or have I raised more questions, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so we have intangible real assets. Please, I know that I did not teach this one on the Telegram in the YouTube group, in the YouTube class. So just like we have the tangible, we have intangible, and examples of intangible assets are copyrights. All right, we have technical know-how, we have patents, trademarks. These are These are intangible assets. These copyrights in particular, I know how YouTube doesn't even joke, or some social media handle don't joke with copyrights. You can just see content and feel like you can do even use somebody's music on your page. If that page is grown to a certain stage, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, they will remove that music. Because why? The owner of that music has monetized it and you are using it for free. So copyright is a very, very strong asset, which is intangible. So now let's continue. So Ma, do you have anything on financial markets, Miss Wumi? Miss Wumi, do you have anything on financial markets?
Financial market. Let me
Yes,
check.
ma'am.
Okay. Financial market trades on financial assets.
Very straightforward. Market that trades on financial assets. All right. Financial assets might have to do with financial instruments. All right. Any instrument that you can convert into finance. All right. Financial assets. All right. So we have such market as financial market. Now it says assets. This asset promises future benefits in form of cash payments, such as applicable to bonds, certificates of deposits, treasury bills. All right, all these are tied to financial market. The likes of bonds. All right, remember we said something about bonds, something about debenture. All right, certificate of deposits. Remember when money newly started then, when we don't have paper money like we have now, whereby people will go and keep their gold with goldsmiths, and goldsmiths will give them papers in form of receipts, whereby they can renew their gold by coming back to submit such receipts. So we have certificates of all these good examples of financial things you can tie to financial markets, certificates that are valuable, that can be easily converted into money. And we have the likes of treasury bills. So we have that as that. So I think after that we talked about finance and management functions. All right, we talked about finance and management functions, and it is said to be that there's a relationship between finance and other functions in business enterprises. Now, you should know that all business activities, directly or indirectly, involve the acquisition and utilization of funds. All right. So now what are we talking about here? Finance and management. Now, no matter how much access you have to finance, if there is poor management, then it is just a ship yet to be wrecked. All right. The need for finance is important, and the need for managing, all right, managing this finance when you have access to it is also very important. So that's why it is said here, the finance and management function, all right, these functions need to be at its peak in running a business enterprise. All right. Now, business activities directly or indirectly involves, look at what it says here, involves the acquiring. When you acquire funds, you don't acquire funds to decorate your company. You acquire funds to utilize it. When you get this fund, you inject it back into the business. So when this business grows, the funds are being recovered. Then you can talk about your profits and keep your capital growing. So these are highly essential and sophisticated functions. Are we all on the same page? Are we all on the same page, Mr. Alfred?
Yes, sir.
Miss Glory David, are we on the same page? Miss Glory, can you hear me? Yeah, I think she's having issues with her network. Miss Wumi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Are we all on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Miss Agnes, this is not your cause, but it's great to have you on board. Invited. Okay, very well then. So let's continue. Now look at what it says here. I like this. It says a company. Let me highlight this. It says a company can obtain equity. All right. Equity here is more like capital funds. A company can obtain capital funds by retaining earnings available for shareholders. This is a business strategy. Just like we said something about dividends. When shareholders invest by buying shares, when it gets to the time of maturity, the company in question must give them the dividends of the shares. But there's a strategy employed by companies to obtain equity funds by retaining earnings available for shareholder. Now, this is a strategy. Let's say, for example, the agreement is at the end of 1 year. This, if you buy share at the end of 1 year, follow the trend. If you buy share for 1 unit, a unit of share for 100 naira, and at the end of 1 year, that 1 unit now has turned to 120 naira. You'll be like, oh, I've made money. Let me withdraw my money. Now, company will now persuade you or tell you that if you can, we know that your shares has matured. All right, but if you can wait for another 1 year, another 6 months, instead of getting 120, we will give you 125. This is what they are talking about here. Now, at that point, the organization might want to use that money they want to give to their shareholders to run a business that 5 naira they are adding for you on your own returns, they are making ×4 of it. So it's a strategy. That is what it's trying to explain to us here. It says here, this is known as retained earning and internal equity. undistributed profit of equity capital.
Capital.
That is what it is. Miss Glory, you wanted to say something? Miss Glory, you wanted to say something?
No, sir.
Okay. So I think we'll call it a wrap here for today. And
Just
I want to, yes, sir. Please, you have questions.
just send us the link.
Okay, please. There's a lot, if it would have been a different thing if Mr. Alfred, Miss Miss Glory David had attended to those classes, would have gone far by now. We are still in page 6 out of 36. We still have 30 pages. So we have a long way to go. So in our next class, we'll definitely talk about these finance functions. And I'm hoping that we would have gone through those classes on YouTube. All right. What I want to be doing now, like this, is statistics, because that one is calculation. But these ones like this, we can save ourselves time by going through those YouTube classes first. You can imagine now we spent almost an hour on just how many lines? It's not even up to a page. We started from dividends, and this is where we are now. This is where we are now, finance functions. So please and please, I'm begging us, I'm imploring us that please let us go through this strategy so that we can move at a reasonable speed. Thank you very much, everyone, and it's wonderful being here with us to learn again together tonight. Let's all have a wonderful night rest. I look forward to seeing you all in subsequent tutorial. Bye for now.